Are you getting ready to run your first or your next 100 miler? Well, these are 3 rules that I stuck to during my last 100 that I know will not only help you reach the finish line, but finish strong. Hi, my name is Eric. I'm a USCA Ultra Running Certified Coach, and I love running, talking about running, and helping other runners like you become better runners. One of the ways I do that is by creating these short training videos on YouTube to help you go further than you ever thought possible, but not only that, rethink possible, because I believe that you can go further with my endurance life. So sit back, relax, and let me go over the 3 rules that I stuck to that are going to help you finish strong for your next or your first 100 miler. Rule number 1 is every time a negative thought entered my brain, I ate something. Could have been a snack, could have been a meal, no matter what. From the beginning of the race to the very end. If something as little as I stubbed my toe and that hurt, I ate something. Or those big nasty thoughts that, around like that middle mark, 50, 60, 70 miles into it, where you're thinking like, man, why did I sign up for this? Like, man, how much further is the finish line? Then I'm sure to eat something. Not only did this help distract me by having to get something out of my vest to eat, but also, as well as I do, that nutrition plays such a big role in ultra running that it could and most times is the difference between a DNF and the finish line. So that little tip, snack on something, no matter how small the negative thought is, will help you get to the finish line. Rule number 2 is I think pace is overrated. I know in the back of our minds we all have these set goals that we want to meet. 24 hours, 26 hours, 28 hours. Some of us might be lucky enough to run below 24 hours. But what I do on my watch is I don't keep track of my current pace. I keep track of my average pace. And on my watch face, the first thing I see is the distance and the average pace overall. So what this does is not only does it take 10, 12, 15 miles to like really create a baseline, but it takes the emphasis off of running at your goal pace in the moment. For instance, mile 5, if your legs are fresh and there's an uphill, yes, you probably could run it. Is it smart? Maybe not. Should you hike it? Probably yes. If you have your average pace on there, once you get to the top and you start cruising down, it's going to average out to whatever that pace is. That 14-20 minute mile for those people who want to run 24 hours. Or, me, like I'm more around a 15-minute average pace. So that's what I stick to. That's what it helps me along the way. Just take that anxious feeling when you know you're going slow. Going slow is not bad, especially in the early miles of a 100 mile. This is just a bonus tip that I'm going to throw in there. Another strategy that I use when I start my 100 milers is I start in dead last. This helps me get behind all the slower people. The people who I know are going to start hiking and walking from the very beginning. Again, this helps me take the emphasis and the anxiety out of that goal pace, because I don't care if it takes me 10 miles to fall into my groove. I got 90 miles to figure it out. This last race that I just did, Stagecoach 100, there was 113 people who signed up. I probably started in 100th place, and I finished in 27th or 26th, something like that. So it's gonna happen. You're gonna find out your natural shakeout spot in the race, no matter where you start. So food for thought. Take away your current pace and replace it with average pace, and it'll just take away all that anxiety and you'll just be cruising. Okay, rule number 3, and probably the most important rule that I stuck to, and this is a pacing strategy. And it actually helps, and I got this tip from Carl Meltzer. If you don't know who Carl Meltzer is, he's a speed goat. The Hoka speed goat shoe is named after him, so if you didn't know that, now you do. Well, Carl Meltzer, on one of his podcasts, he just threw this little tidbit out there, and it's stuck in my brain. And since then, I've been using it for all my ultras, and it really helped me on this last race. And he said that he paces himself slow enough to be able to run the last 20 miles. So every time I would start running during this last 100, that if I knew that it was a little bit too much for me to be able to run the last 20, I would start to walk, or I would gear it back, or I would tone it back. But my whole goal through the entire race was to be able to run the last 20 miles. And as a matter of fact, it happened. Well, actually not the last 20, I ran the last 16 of 20 miles because there was a couple climbs in there that were kind of tough. So, but it worked. And what ended up happening was I ended up passing 9 runners who at this point could only walk. And what Carl said is like, not only do you want to be able to like pace yourself so you can run the last 20 because you want to finish strong, but once you start passing people, this little like motivation of just passing somebody who's in that death march phase is just going to motivate you to catch someone else, and then catch someone else, and catch someone else. And that's going to keep you running. And then all those aches and pains and just that nagging stuff in your mental headspace is going to change. Everything is going to go positive. And that's what happened for me. That's what actually happened to one of my athletes that I get to coach in the last race that he did, the Kodiak 100, and he ended up passing 17 people in the last 22 miles. So just it's awesome technique. It's an awesome pacing strategy. Hope you apply this and just remember it through your race. It's going to feel slow in some areas, but just knowing that if I can run the last 20 miles, not only am I going to finish strong, but I'm going to be passing people, and it's just going to be a big morale boost all the way to the finish line. If you like this video and you want more training tips, or you want to work with me one-on-one, or you want to join the My Endurance Life Trail and Ultra Running Mastermind, please visit myendurancelifecom. Click on the tab that says join the team, and you'll get an invite to join the Trail and Ultra Running Mastermind, where you get insights, live Q&A from not only myself, but the top athletes and professional runners of today, legends of the sport. I bring in physical therapists, nutritionists, anything that I can think of to help you along your way. I built this because this is something that I wish I had when I first started, and I knew it would have saved months and months and maybe years of trial and error off of my ultra running, and definitely would have saved me from a couple of DNFs that I have. So I encourage you, go to myendurancelifecom, click on the button that says join the team, and check out the My Endurance Life Trail and Ultra Running Mastermind. I promise you it'll blow you away. Talk to you guys soon.